The longer this situation goes on, the more I'm becoming convinced that Bud Light is not just a run-of-the-mill light beer that you drink whenever you're not too discerning about taste, but you want to keep a buzz going, and more or less just a magic potion that ruins everything that it comes in contact with, including Patient Zero, who a couple of days ago released this out-of-touch, completely unself-aware video about, oh, my 500th day that I'm out here, just a couple of days after. No, it was the same day that Anheuser Busch announced that it would be laying off 300 people, no small part due to what Dylan Mulvaney did to the brand. But no, it's all about me. It's all about me. And remember when Anheuser Busch didn't reach out and talk to me about all my trauma? So instead of noticing that misstep, or maybe just trying to be the bigger man in this situation and going, yeah, okay, it's pretty bad. I heard what happened to one of my former employers or whatever, I don't know, benefactors. Heard what happened over there. My condolences to the 300 some odd people that ended up getting their walking papers. Bad situation for all involved. Instead of putting out some kind of a statement like that, nah, it's time to go clubbing in the French Riviera. It's girl time. It's time to go for a girls trip. Like, normally there's not any guys involved with the girls trip, but it's 2023, and what exactly is a woman? Dylan Mulvaney bounces on inflatable. Go under the knife again. In France after sharing Bud Light trauma. Yeah, if you want more on that dilapidated video, released a video on it a couple of days ago. It's got screenshots in the thumbnail from it because God, Dylan just can't post a fucking video without putting out hilarious facials. Pause. Mulvaney shared a video of herself excitedly bouncing up and down on an inflatable during a trip to South France. I'm not going to show that because that's just super fucking haram. To the south of France as they celebrated 500 days of being a girl. Yeah, that's fantastic. The LA-based tranny influencer, 26 years old, enjoyed a warm weather by the seaside. Yeah, but I thought it's like the warmest summer in like the history of forever, and you're worried about your safety, so you're going to a place, even though just a couple of weeks ago was under intense riots, not to mention it being one of the most expensive places on earth, the French Riviera. But that's alright, you only become a girl and can celebrate your 500-day anniversary once, right? The video was marked by a milestone for Mulvaney, who revealed it was day 500 of coming out to the world as a female, but her paradise break after she shared details of the trauma she said she'd suffered in the wake of being gifted a special can of Bud Light. Remember, guys, now even the media is just running this back. It was just one can. It was just one post. Go fuck your mother. I'm having the best day ever. I've got a pina colada that you're going to splash all over your face, neck, and chest. It's my second one, and I'm in France. Bonjour. She said before the montage. The TikTok star launches to the sound of La Mer by Chantel Chamberlain. Whatever. I don't fucking care. Of course that's what you'd be drinking because it looks like everything else that you're normally drinking anyways, but not to be out cringed. Like I said, everything that Bud Light touches eventually withers and dies and turns into absolute dog shit. Case in point, Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis is out there on the campaign trail, and he's really sticking it to him at one of those benefactor dinners or whatever small get-together he's down there at. He's in Iowa after giving a rousing speech to 6 people. The dude is dying in the polls. A little bit of a heads up to everybody watching right now. Should probably. Voice is still a little bit messed up. It's coming around, and it's taking a lot longer than I anticipated, but should have a stream going tomorrow. I'm kind of going back and forth on what the topics are, but I think the Megyn Kelly, Ron DeSantis interview where Ron ends up eating some shit, I think that might be fun to go over, so a little heads up on that one. Nothing's concrete, but should be back on schedule tomorrow. But anyways, DeSantis is down there and he's ordering a Coors Light, right? Because the Bud Light don't pay him shit. It's the reverse Brock Lesnar. By the way, just like artificial women were trying to pump up Bud Light, and you got artificial candidates trying to be pumped up by a bunch of out-of-touch trad thoughts. Oopsie daisy, just about slipped up a little bit more than I intended. But just trying to infuse some politics here for a second, because I'm glad that Ron DeSantis is running this failed campaign in 2024, and he didn't push this off until 2028 so we could really see the guy behind all the campaign slogans. Okay, the neocon that was hiding behind the veneer of being the woke warrior. Florida's where woke goes to die. Shut the fuck up and just campaign and try not to be a fucking Bushite neocon. Like, just act like a human being. But, oh oh yeah, I had a fiery speech at the Iowa Lincoln dinner. It was a middle of the road speech, okay? Again, he has the personality of a fucking barn cloth. DeSantis orders a Coors Light and continues to hang out with supporters. Man of the people. And I just want to play with sound for a second, because you're going to notice something. It's something that I immediately picked on, not for the fact that I'm no longer somebody who would support Ron DeSantis if he was the last conservative running on earth. It's just for the fact that I think he's a phony guy. Like, 100%. Like, for as much as Dylan Mulvaney's a phony chick, we got DeSantis over here just being a real fucking disingenuous fucker, okay? Like, just watch this for a second, okay? Jesus, we actually don't need the sound for a second. All the way, okay, so yeah, he orders, 2 Coors Lights, okay? Looks away for a second. Okay, here, this is what we'll probably have sound for a second. So he gets the beer from the nice elderly barmaid, okay? Like, you know, she's just doing her thing out there. Okay, she's staffing the occasion. She probably works for the location, you know, just simply working there. But look at the way that he just dismissively grabs the beer, and you're gonna notice something is missing. Doesn't say thank you. Okay, it seems pedantic, all right? I was building it up for all of that, and it's like, what, he didn't say thank you? He's trying to be painted, and it's not working by all of his surrogates on his campaign. It's like, oh, he's just an everyman. He's like Trump without the baggage. Meanwhile, Trump, whenever he makes these impromptu stops anywhere, doesn't immediately turn away from somebody and then just goes back to having the sourpuss that looks like somebody just kicked him in the fucking shins. Okay, and another great example of that is right here, okay? Just this, like, he's got the Arthur holding his fucking clenched fist to the side where he's just like, I gotta pretend to be a real human being for how much fucking longer? Like, he looks like he's in pain whenever he's out in public. Like, Christ almighty, run your campaign like Biden if you have this type of personality, for Christ's sake. Just be hidden, put out all of your stupid AI-generated campaign slander messages that, oh, Trump was running his candidacy, or he's running his presidency towards the end at the behest of Fauci, Just continue to rewrite history, you blithering idiot. But just look at this interaction. It's just so fucking fake. Like, yeah. Oh, it's so great. It's great. And yeah, scene. It's just like, yeah, just like a director just goes, all right, and action. It's like, no authenticity there at all whatsoever. But I bet you're asking, Don, when does Bud Light come into this? Well, here you go. Just the cringe lord in action. It's like, Jesus, fuck it. Like, for all the headway that Trump made when it came to making meme culture intrinsic with the modern, whatever the fuck you want to call this, new wave of conservatism, you got old Ronnie boy pulling up, depending on the poll you're looking at, second or third. But Vivek did have a pretty big fucking blunder. Oh, Christ almighty. But anyways, more on that sometime later. But here you have the cringe lord himself. Like, it was already bad enough when Kid Rock did it by shooting a bunch of cans on his property. Like, it was all right. I immediately thought it was, just a little bit off-putting. But people rallied around that because, I don't know, maybe because it's Kid Rock. I don't know. Cult of personality, right? But when you have somebody who's a lack of personality, well, then you end up getting dumb fucking publicity stunts like this. Ron DeSantis super PAC sets up Bud Light targets for attendees photo show. Yeah, exactly. And it's the same place that Ron DeSantis was getting that beer, just being one of the everyman that's out there, right? Because you recognize those signs as much as they were here as well. So yeah, it's not just a super PAC. It was Ron out there on display as well. Ron DeSantis supporting super PAC encouraged attendees at the Iowa Republican dinner on Friday to throw baseballs at cans of Bud Light as conservative backlash against a popular beer brand continues. Right, it's just the conservatives that are boycotting it, right? Right, sure. Never back down, had a stand at the Iowa GOP Lincoln dinner in Des Moines, which was addressed by no fewer than 13 presidential hopefuls, including Donald Trump and Florida Governor DeSantis. Bud Light had been facing a boycott campaign since April, and the company partnered with tranny influencer Dylan Mulvaney, who's trying not to be a continued cringe lord. But some people, for as many objectionable qualities as Dylan Mulvaney has, cannot say that chick, dude, whatever the fuck you want to call it, doesn't lack charisma. Found a way to monetize it, strangely as possible. Photograph of 2 stacks of Bud Light cans, which has been set up as target practice in front of a bucket of baseballs, was shared on Twitter. Yeah, see, this would be fun if it was at, like, I don't know, the county fair where you're going down there to have an address like it's the fucking 1920s or some shit like that, but just drag it all the way back to the beginning, because that's where you're basically getting all all your fucking political talking points from. But no, if you were doing it there, it's like, that's something that you do for kids, right? Just throw the ball at the cans, but not for a bunch of stuffed shirt fucking pushing 70-year-olds. Like, ugh, it's just so fucking lame, dude. And speaking of which, last time we talked about DeSantis, oh, we're going to be investigating Bud Light because they ended up tanking some stocks that we were too over leveraged on when it comes to our pension fund. And I love boomers as much as I love right-wing feminists. And it's like, oh my God, no wonder your fucking campaign's dying because so are your demographics. But DeSantis is confronted with his own Bud Light stance after legal threat. And like I said, we'll probably be going, I got a couple of ideas for what topics are going to be, but probably that Megyn Kelly, Ron DeSantis interview. This is one thing that did come up there. I don't necessarily know the response, and we'll obviously listen to it in its totality when we stream it, but this is going to be pretty interesting here for a second. Ron DeSantis was challenged by Megyn Kelly in his proposal to sue Bud Light's parent company over the recent boycott of the brand over its collaboration with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. The podcast host questioned the Florida governor over the impact of the boycott on the beer brand value, which in turn hit the Florida pension fund. Kelly pointed out Florida governor had himself backed the Bud Light boycott, though he insisted it was just a personal thing. Oh my fucking God, bruh. You gotta have a better deflection than that. No, it's just that was just me. It wasn't me as governor or anything like that. I wasn't tampering. Shut up. DeSantis is running. Is he running? Oh, it's kind of a slow jog at this point in time. To the Republican Party's 2024 presidential nominee because a bunch of Karl Rove types really needed the 2024 paycheck and ended up tanking his career. Sucks to suck, I guess. During an appearance on the Megyn Kelly show released on Friday, DeSantis denied seeking to punish private companies for political wrongthink. Well, that's kind of what I was coming to the conclusion of, because yeah, okay, there are a bunch of different legal liabilities that you can go after Disney for. It's probably about time that Disney comes around, and if we can go ahead and borrow a phrase from the left, if they want to pay their fair share. And yeah, it was only supposed to be a temporary, for Reedy Creek, a temporary business development zone that has been around since the fucking 60s. It was about time that we make some refreshers there. I remember Disney was the one who fired the first shots, but him going after Bud Light, that seems like a little bit of a political overstep and not something that I'd necessarily be comfortable with somebody setting the precedent for, just in order to try to get woke, or rather, white soccer mom votes, which are just mythical on the right. Like, you just got to keep your fucking stance 10 toes down, but nobody in his inner circle of yes men are just going ahead and trying to tell him that stuff. Be authentic. And he's like, what? I don't understand. Woke, 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 woke. Referring to Bud Light's parent company, he said, take Anheuser Busch. We're not pushing them. They departed from business practices by engaging in social activism. They're causing a huge problem for the companies, and the stock price has gone down. Well, our pension fund in Florida holds Anheuser Busch InBev stock. How much exactly? I'm just wondering. So it actually hurts teachers. Who the fuck cares? It hurts cops. Which ones? Were they the ones that were enforcing the mask mandates? Were they the ones that were also kicking in the doors back when you had, which you did, you had the restrictions on how many people could be under one domicile, even as brief as it was. So let's not fucking memory hole that shit for as much as you want to say Fauci was running Trump, which isn't even close to being a fair assessment of the situation. But when we're doing politics, and we'll talk about that even more so than already. So, yeah, he's just trying to, right, guys? Ron is just standing up for the working man. Teachers, firefighters, and cops. You all love that stuff. They all depend on the pension fund, right? But he's also going to be the guy who's going to be fighting against socialism and Marxism down there. Florida's where woke goes to die. No, Florida's where political careers go to die. So everything that Bud Light touches turns to the piss that is normally contained within the can. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.